This week, after Bashar al-Assad's government collapsed in Syria and he fled to Russia, Israel took out the country's air and sea military capability and took control of some territory. But it's not the first time Israel has invaded Syria to defend itself. Some are saying this could fulfill Isaiah's prophecy in the Bible about the fall of Damascus. But stick with me to the end for a Bible prophecy about Syria that has already been fulfilled. In Israel's ongoing effort to protect itself against the forces which want to destroy the tiny Jewish country, Israel took steps to disable the military capability of the incoming rebels after Assad fled to Russia this week. From Israel's perspective, the rebels who now control the country may be worse than Assad was. Yes, Assad allowed Iran to pass through, supplying Hezbollah in Lebanon, but Assad himself did little to threaten Israel. The rebels, on the other hand, have roots in Al-Qaeda and ISIS, so for Israel it's basically out of the frying pan into the fire. But this is not the first time Israel has invaded Syria and taken steps to ensure its security. I'm not even talking about 1967 or the Seven-Day War or anything that recent. I'm talking about King David 3,000 years ago. I'm doing this YouTube channel because I'm writing a series of novels based on the Bible stories about King Saul, King David, and King Solomon. Because of the geography and the newly reconstituted nation of Israel, there are many opportunities for history to repeat itself. Incidentally, right now I'm having a Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, Hanukkah special on the two novels that are available, Quest for a King and The Exile of the King. Through December 31st, 2024, you can get $5 off with the code LIST5OFF when you order from GaryIvey.com. One reader said they are like the Old Testament, The Chosen. In the third novel, which I'm working on now, The Eternal Kingdom, King David becomes king of all Israel, and several surrounding nations respond by declaring war. One of those nations is Ammon. If that name sounds familiar, it should. Amman is the capital of today's nation of Jordan, but 3,000 years ago, Amman was the name of the nation, and Rabbah was the capital. But it's the same city of Amman in the same place. It wasn't a Muslim country then because Islam wasn't created for another 1,600 years. 600 years after Christ. David tried to negotiate a peace treaty, but the king of Ammon humiliated David's ambassadors, so David responded by attacking Rabbah. The king of Ammon realized his mistake and appealed to the nation of Aram to join the war against Israel. Aram is the ancient name of Syria. Damascus was the capital of Syria 3,000 years ago, just like it is today. In fact, many believe that Damascus is the oldest continuously inhabited city in the world. Its history reaches back 5,000 years. So Israel has had many opportunities to clash with Syria since Abraham first immigrated to Canaan, what is now Israel, 4,000 years ago. But back to King David. Because of his superior military skill, and if you are a believer, you can add God's blessing, Israel defeated the Aramaean, that is Syrian, army that came from northern Syria to help Ammon. After the defeat of the first army, the Syrians sent another larger army from Damascus, but David defeated them too. Here's what the Bible says about the aftermath. When the troops from the Aramean kingdom of Damascus came to help Hadadezer, David killed 22,000 of them. He left some of his soldiers in Damascus, and the Arameans had to accept David as their ruler and pay taxes to him. Everywhere David went, the Lord helped him win battles. David then turned to Ammon and defeated the capital city of Rabbah. As a result, Israel under David controlled territory stretching to the borders of present-day Iraq and Turkey in the north, and to the border of present-day Saudi Arabia in the east. He also subdued the Philistines and conquered the city of Gath. So he controlled territory to the borders of Egypt in the southwest, and to the Gulf of Aqaba to the south. Ezion Geber, called Eliat today, became an important port for King Solomon's world trade activity. David had previously established peace treaties with the king of Tyre in Lebanon and with the king of Geshur in what is today southern Syria. So by the time David's son Solomon became king, he was able to build up the kingdom during a time of peace. The expansion of Israel's border, according to the Bible, fulfilled an earlier prophecy from 1,000 years before. 4,000 years ago, God told Abraham, "To your descendants I give this land, and from the river of Egypt to the great river, the Euphrates, the land of the Kenites, Kenizzites, Cadmonites, Hittites, Perizzites, Rephaites, Amorites, Canaanites, Girgashites, and Jebusites." The river of Egypt refers to Wadi al-Arish, which was the traditional border between Israel and Egypt. Without going into who all the ites were, we can just understand that God intended for Israel to have all the land from Egypt to Iraq and from Turkey to the Sinai Peninsula and from the Mediterranean Sea to Saudi Arabia. That prophecy was mostly realized under King David. This map shows one way of illustrating the territory promised to Abraham, although you can find many different interpretations. And here it is with the current national boundaries overlaid. So when we see Israel enhancing their security with an incursion into Syria today, we have to realize it's not the first time. What about Isaiah's prophecy that Damascus would be destroyed and become a ruin? Isaiah 17:1 says, "Damascus will no longer be a city, but will become a heap of ruins." While the 14-year civil war that ended this week didn't do Damascus any favors, and it's legitimate to say Damascus has fallen due to the collapse of Assad's government, it's not really possible to say it's no longer a city and is a heap of ruins. People are still living there. This may be a Bible prophecy that will be fulfilled in the future. We also have to remember that some prophecy is conditional, meaning that the prophecy only comes true when the conditions are met. If you enjoy this type of content, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you'll be notified when I do another video. And if you are just getting into reading the Bible, there are links in the description below to 3 books you might find helpful. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.